Tommy Reese from the head coaching running. He's done, and it's being exposed. It's being exposed.
The drama surrounding the Cleveland Browns has reached a point where silence is no longer possible. What once looked like ordinary coaching decisions now feels like something darker, something deliberate, something that tried to bury talent instead of building it. At the center of this storm is Shadur Sanders, a young quarterback whose rise was slowed not by injury, not by lack of ability, but by the very people meant to protect his future. And when the truth began to surface,
Haslam are not playing games. They are eliminating any potential sabotagers away from the building.
One name kept appearing in the shadows: Tommy Reese, a coach who now finds himself shut out of the head coaching race by an owner who finally decided that enough was enough. For months, fans watched a team that looked confused at the most important position in football. Week after week, Gabriel struggled. The offense stalled. Turnovers piled up. Decisions came late or wrong. And yet, nothing changed. Instead of accountability, there were excuses. Instead of competition, there was protection.
That he was in on the Kevin Stefanski sabotaging. Great news for Shadur Sanders as GM Andrew Berry and owner Jimmy Haslam.
Every bad performance was dressed up with calm words and soft explanations. And standing at the podium again and again was Tommy Reese, defending what could not be defended, telling the world that things were fine when everyone could see they were broken. What made it unbearable was what people saw in practice. Shadur Sanders was not hidden. He was not invisible. He was throwing with confidence, accuracy, and control. The ball came out of his hand like it knew where it was going before the defense did. He made throws that only quarterbacks with real instincts can make. Tight windows.
There was a chance you was in on sabotaging Shadur Sanders. You are being removed.
Perfect timing. Calm under pressure. Teammates saw it. Coaches saw it. Cameras saw it. And yet, he stayed on the bench while the offense kept collapsing in public. That is where whispers started to turn into questions. Why was the better quarterback not playing? Why was the same struggling option being protected? Why did every press conference sound like a script instead of a truth? And slowly, the idea began to form that this was not incompetence. This was design. Sources inside the building began to talk. They described meetings where decisions were already made before competition ever happened. They described practice reps being tilted. They described protection schemes that changed depending on who was under center. When Gabriel played, he had stability. He had the best offensive line combinations. He had time to breathe. When Shadur Sanders played, the line rotated constantly. Chemistry never formed. Pressure came fast and often. It looked like chaos, but chaos was not the goal. Failure was. Even when Shadur finally got a chance, the situation felt wrong. The game plan was thin. The protection was shaky. The timing was off. He was thrown into a storm and then judged for getting wet. And when he struggled, the same voices who had pushed him into that position pointed and said, "See, he is not ready." But what they never said was that they had built the conditions for him to fail. At the heart of this was a partnership that worked not for the team, but for itself. Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Reese, two men who believed in their vision so deeply that they were willing to sacrifice wins to protect it. They did not want to be wrong about their quarterback choice. They did not want to admit that the player they had crowned was not delivering. So instead of adjusting, they protected. Instead of competing, they controlled. Instead of developing, they sabotaged. And then there was Jimmy Haslam. While fans argued online and media debated stats, the owner was watching quietly. He saw the same practices. He watched the same games. He listened to the same excuses. And slowly, he began to feel that something did not add up. So he stopped relying only on reports. He started asking questions himself. He spoke to players. He reviewed practice film. He talked to football minds outside the building. And what he discovered made him angry. What he saw was not just bad judgment. It was bias. It was agenda. It was a system built not around winning, but around protecting egos. He learned that Shadur Sanders was not being held back because he was unready. He was being held back because certain coaches did not want him to succeed. They had decided who they believed in, and they were willing to bend the team around that belief, even if it broke. That is why Tommy Reese's request to be considered for head coach never had a chance. It was not about experience. It was not about resume. It was about trust. And Reese had lost it. When Haslam saw his role in defending failure, in shaping conditions that hurt a young quarterback, in standing beside decisions that damaged the team, he knew one thing clearly. This man could not be given more power. He could not be rewarded for working against the future. The moment that truly confirmed everything came from the top of football operations. General Manager Andrew Berry admitted publicly that players like Shadur Sanders and others could have done more if they had been supported better. He admitted that coaches and coordinators failed players because of personal biases. That was not rumor. That was not speculation. That was confirmation. When the general manager says coaches let personal agendas override team success, the story is no longer hidden. It is exposed. Looking back, every piece fits. The strange decisions. The uneven reps. The excuses that never matched reality. The protection of one quarterback while another was quietly erased. The truth was there the whole time. It just needed someone powerful enough to act on it. Now the Browns stand at a turning point. The sabotage has been dragged into the light. Tommy Reese has been denied the promotion he wanted. His role in this mess has followed him, and it will not be easy to escape. Kevin Stefanski now stands under heavier questions than ever. And Shadur Sanders finally has something he never truly had before. A fair chance. This is not just a football story. It is a story about power, control, and fear of being wrong. It is about what happens when coaches care more about protecting their image than building players. It is about how talent can be buried not by opponents, but by allies. And it is about what happens when someone at the top finally decides to stop looking away. Jimmy Haslam did not fix everything, but he broke the silence. He showed that sabotage does not survive inspection. He showed that even powerful coaches can be exposed when truth is followed long enough. And most importantly, he gave a young quarterback the chance to be judged by his play, not by someone else's agenda. Now the real test begins. Shadur Sanders will finally step forward without chains around his opportunity. The Browns will move with new eyes watching every decision. And the league will see whether talent, when freed, can become everything it was meant to be. So now it is your turn. Do you believe Jimmy Haslam did the right thing by shutting down Tommy Reese's rise? Should Kevin Stefanski be held accountable for what happened behind the scenes? And do you think Shadur Sanders will finally show the world what he can really do now that the sabotage is exposed? Drop your thoughts below, share the story with every football fan who believes in fairness and competition, and if you want more deep, dramatic breakdowns of the stories they do not want you to see, make sure you like, subscribe, and stay locked in, because this season is not just about football, it is about truth.